Before rivers carved new beds and mountains forgot their old name, there was Eldoria, a kingdom not built on conquest but on covenant. Its golden towers reached into the skies, that had never seen war, and its kings held power not as a throne to be seized, but as a burden to be borne with grace. For generations, Eldoria was the world's quiet center, a place where wisdom outlasted swords. But even the brightest flames can be smothered from within.
Eldoria did not fall in a single battle. It was swallowed slowly by whispers, by betrayal, by the hands of those it trusted most. The golden towers were pulled down, the maps were redrawn. The name Eldoria was carved out of history like a wound that heals over with no scar. Its people were scattered like ash on the wind. Only one thing survived.
Centuries passed. In a humble village tucked at the edge of forgotten mountains, a young woman named Arelia lived a life of quiet purpose. She asked for nothing beyond what her hands could hold. But sleep was never truly restful for her. Every night, the dreams came. Crowns half buried in stone, banners burning yet refusing to turn to ash. And always, from somewhere deep and ancient, a throne calling her name in a voice older than language itself. Arelia. She told herself they were only dreams. She was wrong. The night they came, there were no warnings, no crests on their armor, no words spoken. Only the sound of boots on stone and the cold language of drawn blades. Arelia woke up, hearing the sound of the boots.
They are here for me.
Arelia ran not from cowardice, but from something deeper than thought. An instinct that moved her feet before her mind had even asked why. The forest swallowed her whole, and in the forest, something waited. Beneath an ancient oak split by lightning, yet still standing, he waited. An old man with silver eyes held the depth of things long remembered. He did not speak her name like a question. He said it like a fact that had been waiting.
You are the last heir of Eldoria.
He knelt before her, this weathered stranger, this keeper of a secret too heavy to carry alone, and pressed a broken signet ring into her trembling palm.
They had stood between her and those who hunted her and chosen her future over their own lives. Eldoria had not been destroyed by war. It had been destroyed by betrayal from inside its own walls, by those who feared a single prophecy. When the last heir of Eldoria rises, the forgotten kingdom shall breathe again, and those who smothered it once were still there.
Arelia did not want a crown. She wanted peace, a quiet life, the right to grieve without also having to carry a kingdom's grief. But the land would not let her be ordinary. Ruins spoke when she passed. Rivers ran cleaner at her touch. And in the eyes of broken people who had forgotten what hope felt like, something stirred, something old, something they recognized without knowing why. She was not becoming a queen by choice. She was being remembered into one.
She did not raise an army. She told the truth. One by one, they came, the scattered descendants of Eldoria, farmers who dreamed of gold, ours, wanderers who bore the same mark without knowing its meaning, children of exile who had always felt, in some unnamed place inside them, they belonged somewhere that no longer existed. Arelia did not unite them with conquest. She united them with remembrance. When the enemies of Eldoria finally faced her with all their armies, all their centuries of stolen power, they expected to find a girl.
A frightened heir they could stamp out like a candle. They found a queen, not forged in fury, not sharpened by hatred, forged instead by loss and courage, and something they had never understood. And mercy, wielded with truth, is more dangerous than any sword. At the ruins of the old capital, she stood before the ancient throne. She did not storm it. She approached it slowly with grief and gratitude, and the full weight of everything it had cost to arrive at this moment.
The broken ring touched the stone, and the world remembered. Stone turned to gold, the air filled with a light that had no source, and Eldoria rose not as its powers and its kings, but as something wiser, something earned. A kingdom remembered is never truly lost, and the last heir became the first ruler of a new dawn. This is not a story of conquest. It never was. It is a story of memory.
Ethereal golden particles rising like embers, the crumbled walls rebuilding themselves in light rather than stone.
Vast crowd of people outside witnessing the miracle, tears and joy on their faces, sunrise sky with rose gold and amber clouds.
Of what survives when everything else is taken away. Of blood that carries more than names. Of kingdoms that live on, not in stone and gold, but in the people who remember them. Eldoria was never truly gone. It was waiting in her.